Dr Michael Klaper and Dr Joel Fuhrman both recommend vegans consider taking an algae-based EPA-DHA supplement. They argue that our bodies should be able to take the short-chain omega-3 fatty acid, ALA, found in flax, chia and hemp seeds, and elongate it into the longer-chain omega-3s, EPA and DHA. Delta-6 desaturase is the enzyme that does this conversion, but they have found that for some reason there are many people that appear not to be as good at this conversion as others, and so may need to take an omega-3 supplement. Dr Klaper's research has suggested that we should be aiming for an omega-3 index over 4.4. However, last year Dr Michael Klaper announced that he was no longer recommending omega-3 supplements due to the increased prostate cancer risk. But then in a recent interview he raised further concerns with DHA supplements, citing this study. So let's take a listen.
Short answer is no. I know that upsets a few doctors in the plant-based movement. And so here's my evolution on that. We're all told that vegans don't make, we eat an 18-carbon chain called ALA in our diet. Our body then adds 2 carbons to turn it into EPA and then 2 more carbons into DHA. And that's what we need to make our brains work, etc. And because the humans are very slow and bad at making these chain lengthening steps, then you better take some preformed DHA just for insurance. I used to think that made sense. I used to take it myself. A couple of things got me concerned about it. First concern was whether someone with a strong family history of prostate cancer, if a guy says, my father, 2 brothers, and an uncle all died of prostate cancer at age 45, there are studies showing that large amounts of DHA may increase your risk for that. So that made me think that it might not be so benign. But 2 other things. EPA is the 20-carbon chain, is by far the most important. As soon as the body makes EPA out of the flax seeds that you've been eating, it immediately does things. EPA doesn't stick around very long. It's immediately turned into neurotransmitters and cell membranes and cell organelles. Now, it's been noted for a long time when people take DHA, the 22-carbon end product, that the EPA level starts going up. And they say, well, isn't that wonderful? Look how benevolent DHA is, backfill. This 22-carbon atom will actually go back down into a 20-carbon atom state and will backfill your EPA needs. Isn't that wonderful? Well, science marches on, and some biochemists in Toronto just made it very clear that, no, that's not what's happening. That EPA in your tissues isn't going up because the DHA is turning back into EPA. No, what's happening is that the DHA is inhibiting the clearance of EPA. EPA was trying to get on with turning into neurotransmitters and cell membranes, and a bunch of DHA kind of puts a chemical glue and slows down the clearance of that. And that's why the EPA is piling up. That's why it's going up. It's not being metabolized. Well, this makes me concerned. What else are we doing there? And by me telling all vegans ought to be taking DHA, I'm really saying all vegans should be backing up their EPA synthesis and their EPA metabolism. Why is that a good thing? And if I have a 20-year-old vegan ask me, Doc, should I be taking DHA? And I said, yes, for the next 20 years, I want you inhibiting your EPA metabolism. That's going to protect you from dementia. Do I know that? Do I know what I'm talking about? No. You can't do one thing in the body. You can't do just one thing. Everything sets off a cascade of events. And the truth is, I don't know what I'm saying by saying taking DHA for one thing. Do I think it will protect me from dementia? I have no proof of that anyway. The fact is, I don't know enough to say, yes, vegans should be taking DHA. There comes a point where you got to trust your own metabolism. I eat 2 tablespoons of flax seeds every morning on my oatmeal. I know I've got plenty of ALA, plenty of the rootstock molecule. I've got to trust my liver and my brain to make it into as much DHA as I'm going to need. When my omega-3 indexes came back around 4.8, well, I want to start taking DHA because I started taking it. What am I doing? Am I backing up my EPA details? For what? Is this a good thing? Till I know it's not a bad thing, I'm going to say take the flaxseed and chia seeds and hemp seeds and trust your liver, trust your brain metabolism. At this point, I'm not a DHA fan. Sorry to my colleagues who get upset when they hear me say this.
I myself take an algae omega-3 supplement, and I've also made videos recommending them. So obviously I need to be absolutely sure I'm giving up-to-date, correct information to my viewers. So to be honest, at the moment I'm in two minds. I'm interested in hearing Dr. Greger's take on this, and as and when he's able to look at this research, I will of course update you. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below and subscribe for more upcoming videos.